Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm going to show you guys what we had this week for dinner. So I'm going to start off with some mustard chicken. I'm going to go ahead and add some mustard to one large chicken breast that I've cut in half, some tomato bouillon, some onion and garlic powder, some black pepper, and then I didn't tape it or record it, but I did add a little bit of turmeric for color. And you're just going to rub that in. And then in a skillet with some oil, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken breast. I'm going to cook it thoroughly on each side. Okay, I'm going to heat up 1 can of black beans. I'm going to add some cumin, some onion powder, some salt to taste. And I'm just going to bring that up to a boil. I have also started my quinoa already, and I just put it in a rice cooker as well. I'm doing the same thing to my corn, seasoning it with cumin, paprika, salt, pepper, and I did the same thing to some garbanzo beans. And I just used this avocado ranch dressing. This was really good. All right, for this day, I'm going to go ahead and try a Jamaican jerk chicken recipe. And I watched a ton of videos, and I just kind of came up with my own little concoction, and this is what I came up with. So I grabbed some drumsticks, and I cut little slices through them so the marinade could get all the way in, trying to maximize flavor. Then I added some jerk chicken seasoning on each drumstick, trying to get it really well coated. And this is what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to start on my marinade. It's fairly easy. I just kind of winged it. So I'm doing 2 green onion stems. I'm just chopping that up finely. About half of an onion, or a little under half. I'm just going to chop that up fairly small. Okay, and then I'm going to cut up 2 habaneros. I'm going to devein them and de-seed them because I don't want this extremely hot. And then I'm going to chop up 2 big garlic cloves. I'm not sure why I did it this way instead of using my garlic press, but for some reason I did it this way. Okay, I'm adding all of that to my blender, the juice of 1 lime. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of this kitchen bouquet browning seasoning. Okay, I think I'm going to use about 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. 3, sorry. Okay, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use about half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of thyme, and some black pepper. And then I did go ahead and use 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and I blended all of that up. And then I'm going to transfer my chicken to a Ziploc bag, and I'm just going to add my marinade. And I just tasted it, and I felt like I needed just a little bit more seasoning, so I'm going to add some more of that jerk seasoning. I'm just going to put it in my Ziploc bag, and I'm just going to try to move it around so I can get it into all of those little cuts that I made earlier. All right, after it's been in the fridge marinated for a few hours, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my cast iron skillet, add a little bit of oil, and I'm going to fry these drumsticks on each side for a few minutes. I think I did about like 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And then I went ahead and baked them in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes, or until it reaches 165 internal temperature. And then for my coconut rice and beans, I did follow a recipe, so I'm going to link that down below so you guys can get the exact measurements. But this was so good. I think the only thing that I did a little different on this recipe was that I added dried thyme instead of the fresh thyme. But that's it, I think. And then I just add a little bit more salt to taste, some black pepper, all right, and this is what my chicken looks like right out of the oven, and this was a really good meal. My favorite part, I think, was the rice and beans. It is so, so good. All right, now on to my favorite recipe ever. This is chicken tikka masala. I start off by cutting 2 large chicken breasts in about 1-inch slices, and then I'm going to marinate the chicken with about 2 tubs of plain Greek yogurt. And then I will have a link to the exact video that I used for this recipe. I'm going to squeeze 1 whole lime. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. And don't worry, it's not going to be spicy. The yogurt is going to counteract that. I'm going to add a little bit of curry, some turmeric, and obviously I added too much, some paprika, some garam masala, some cumin, and some coriander. And if you've ever had Indian food and you love tikka masala, give this a try. I bet you it's going to be even better than the restaurants. It is like my family's favorite for birthdays, for holidays. Everybody wants me to make this for them. It is so good. Okay, I'm going to add my chicken now that it's been marinating to skewers. And then in a deep pot, I'm going to start on my little sauce. So I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds, 1 large onion chopped it finely, and 2 Roma tomatoes. And I'm going to saute this around until it is soft. I'm going to mince 2 garlic cloves. And this is what my little chicken kebabs look like, as I call them, right after, like out of the oven. And then I'm going to add 1 can of tomato sauce. I'm going to add some cumin, some coriander, and just a little bit of cayenne pepper, because this time around you will be able to feel the full effect of the cayenne pepper. So I just added about 1/4 of a teaspoon and a little bit of salt to taste. Then I'm going to start on my Indian rice. And this, I just kind of made it up. So I think I used about a teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 stick of cinnamon, 1 cinnamon stick. I'm going to say things wrong all the time, so just giving you guys a heads up. About 1/4 of an onion, and then 2 garlic cloves. And I'm just going to let it cook until it's fragrant. And then once I feel like the onions are a little transparent, I'm going to add some basmati rice that I soaked in water for about 30 minutes, just so it could get fluffy and get rid of the starch. And then I'm just going to heat that up lightly. I'm going to add about the same amount of water, 1 teaspoon of salt for flavor. I'm going to bring that to a boil and then lower the heat until it's fully cooked in about 15 to 20 minutes. And then all the mixture from my pot, I went ahead and blended it so it's not chunky, but you can skip this step if you don't like it super smooth. In my family, though, we just like it this way. My husband doesn't like chunky pieces of tomato. So anyways, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. And that's it. You just mix it all together. I know this seems like super hard to make tikka masala, but it really isn't. It's so easy. And then I add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just tasting it to rectify the flavor to see what it needs. And then I'm using the Stonefire naan. It's the roasted garlic kind from Walmart. And that's it. This was such a good recipe. I love it. If you've never tried Indian food, I suggest you give this a try. It is so good. I promise you will not be disappointed. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.